I'm here with Jason Grinovich, professional hockey player. How are you, Jason?
Hey, doing well, Jacko. How about yourself?
Good, thank you. How's the weather?
The weather is pretty all right now.
Yeah.
She's probably about
Ooh,
-7 Celsius. We've got a ton of snow, and but it's we're looking at spring almost.
yeah, almost melting, right? End of the season here for a lot of kids, coming into playoffs. And one thing in mind is, end of the season, you always think about the coach. Either you like him or you hate him. And
Yeah.
some people, I think this is, they get to play their last game with this coach or last time with this team. My question to you is, what kind of revenge would you have on the coach if you knew this was your last game or you're never going to play for this guy again or last game with this team? What kind of revenge would you have? And I have a couple of mind. Do you want to
Well,
start first or?
I'll let you go first on this
All
one, and
right.
let you can take the lead.
All right. The first thing I would do is jump on the ice whenever I feel like it. So basically, he's going to have his line ready to go, and I just hop on before they even get to go on. And as soon as a guy comes off, it doesn't matter what position, I just hop on again and play that position. And then by the probably the middle of the first period, he'll be like, "You're benched." I'm like, "Okay." So I'd sit on the bench, and as soon as someone's ready to go, I just hop on again. I keep doing it all game. That's one. That's mine. Just get the back on the coach.
Yeah, well, I think my if it was a coach I really didn't like, I'd probably do exactly what you did and just jump on the ice whenever I felt like it, and, until the point where he took me off the ice and told me to get my stuff off, and then I.
But if you were to do something on the ice, what would you do? Like we're talking a dressing room or game, and
Oh,
you had to
I
get
would.
back at this guy. Like, what would you?
You know
What else
what?
would you do?
There's a lot of opportunities to clear pucks out of your end. And obviously, I trained at Hockey Alley, so I can shoot a puck like you wouldn't believe, and pretty accurate. I would rip one, hoping not to hit a teammate because we always love those.
And you
Those are
love
our
the trainers, right? You can't hit a
yeah.
trainer either.
No, but I mean we're accurate at what we do, and I would rip one at him. Like I would clear that puck and be like, "Oh man, sorry, buds."
But you got the assistant coach. You might like them, but
Yeah,
again,
you know what, the assistant coaches I've always got along with. They're always good character
yeah.
guys, and they're really good. And usually those guys that start out in an assistant coach role make the best coaches in the end because they understand how to relate to the players.
Yeah, I got one. I mean, it'd make his worst nightmare for him for this game is, try to sneak and take away his lineup card, rip it up. He puts a lineup sheet, lineup names on the board. I erase it all. Get his clipboard, whatever he has that he's prepared for the game, and just take away pretty much everything he has. He would have to look for it. That's what I
Yeah,
would
that
probably
would be.
do. That's probably one of the ones I'd get back at him that way. But if I had to go on the ice, I mean, there was no way he's going to keep me off. What is he going to do? Hold me back?
Well, the only thing they can do is tell you to take your gear off. So
And you wouldn't do that. Well, do you take your gear? You say, "Oh, okay, I'll go," and then just as the game's going on, you just jump back on the bench and just get back on again. And I advise this to kids. I mean, if you got the guts out there, you got a bad coach. You really hate, like I say, scale of 1 to 10. It's a 10 is the worst. I
yeah.
recommend you on last game that you're never going to play for this coach again or for this team. Just do what I told you guys. Jump on the ice whenever you feel like it. I would do like every 20, 30 seconds. As soon as like somebody comes near the bench, just jump on.
That'd be funny.
That'd be,
That honestly would be hilarious.
I haven't seen,
Especially if you didn't get along with the coach, right?
yeah, I mean, if you get along, I mean, obviously don't do that if the team has treated you good. No, but if this coach is like, a lot of players would tell you that they didn't get to play much during the year, and the coach has been really mean. Hasn't played the kids. There's a lot of those bad coaches out there, and they deserve
Oh,
it.
especially at a young age,
Yeah,
they're well. I mean, actually at every age, age. There's not good coaches at every age group.
No.
And it's not that they're not good coaches. They just don't, there's players and coaches relationships that just, they don't jive, right? Personality wise, or, the GM wants the coach and the GM wants the player, but the coach doesn't like him, or, you know what I mean? There's, I don't know, long cock competitions, I guess, that happen. Rather than just looking after what's best for the player and the team and kind of leaving pride aside. That happens all the time. Coaches
would you ever maybe have another couple of your best friends or best teammates get along with this? What I'm saying is just go out there and mess things up for the coach.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Usually if there's one beaten horse, we'll call it, on the team, there's more. There's never just one whipping boy, right?
Yeah.
And being that hockey is a very team sport, and you're bonded with your boys. If somebody's getting the shit kicked out of them by the coach and they don't get along, usually there's 2, 3, 4 that are in the same boat.
They might follow along, right?
Well, they would follow along. I mean, it just takes one guy and to be like, hey, screw it, we're out of here. Let's do this, right? So
that's what I'm thinking. That's the one thing I would have done, but I didn't get to the point where I hated that much. Well, and again, one of the situations where I hated the coach, but I left the team early. Didn't know when I was going to leave. It was one of those situations. So I didn't get a chance to do what I got to do. But thinking back, if I ever had the chance, but again, a lot of coaches I had weren't that bad. I mean, except for I think 1 or 2, I would say, that were really not good.
Yeah, that's same with me. Yeah. There was a couple that I really didn't like, but there was a couple. Well, I mean, there was a few coaches in my life that were really inspirational, and you know what I mean. They kind of drive you and teach you the values in life, and although what I would have done to a couple of those coaches was a bit harsh. It was one of those things. I was thinking back in the mindset of when I was a young kid. But it's one of those things where you've had a lot of great coaches, and I've had a lot of coaches, and it's one of those where you have to remember that not every coach is going to be as good as the next, right?
That's true.
And when you come from a good coach to, maybe not a bad coach, maybe just an average coach, but you've come from a really good coach, that average coach looks like a really shitty coach.
And the higher we went up the ranks, the worse the coaches got, is what I noticed. I felt like when I was playing in the lower, and then as soon as I moved up, it was just not as good as coaching. It was just they're running lines, and
Yeah, definitely. There were good coaches in there that I had, but I mean, they were unfortunately, they were ACs. I mean, I guess my last year of college, I had a really good coach. He was the AC and came back in, and he took over the head coaching role, and he was fantastic. I mean, the guy had knowledge of the game, relation with players. He's actually one guy that I'm surprised isn't coaching in the NHL at this point in time. He's got the knowledge, got everything.
Yeah.
He has the relationship factor. He's got the the knowledge.
Yeah.
He's got everything. He was a great coach. I don't know. He's probably just never pursued it. It's
I know the guy you're talking about too. He's
happy's where he's at, and doing what he does, and good guy, good coach. Still keep in touch with him. Another one was this was a guy in Germany. That was actually the head coach. That was my first year pro. Was Jeff Tomlinson.
Oh yeah.
He was a great guy, man. Like he was an outside the box thinker. He was he actually, I think Tomer ended up coaching the German national team. He's Canadian. He's got his dual citizenship.
NHL player. Former NHL.
No, Tomer didn't. Tomer didn't play in the NHL.
There was Tomlinson in the NHL, I believe.
There was,
it was the same one. Okay.
No, not the same one. No, he. This was Jeff Tomlinson. He played pro here. Went overseas. He did really well overseas in Germany, and he's got, like I said, he's got his dual citizenship. And he's one of those that I would have thought, because he's a good coach, good guy.
Yeah.
Relates to the players. He's hard on you when he needs to be hard on you, but he understands that players, we're gonna have some shenanigans, and you know, and he laughs. He scolds you, but he laughs about it. And he was one of those coaches. I think I don't know from a coaching standpoint. Obviously, I never played in the NHL, so I don't know their thought process. But I mean, definitely a guy that I would, if I was a GM of a team, you look at the Calgary Flames, right? Like Sutter's a hard ass, good guy, hard ass. I've met him. Good guy. He's got the reputation of being a hard ass. You look where Calgary's at today. Just don't get me wrong, not a Calgary fan. I'm an Oiler fan, but I definitely respect what Daryl Sutter's.
He turned that team around.
He's turned that team around. He's an amazing coach. He did the same thing in LA. LA was in shambles. He took over. He turned them back around. Gave them some playoff runs. So great coach, and you have to respect that. And, a guy like Tomer would be one that I would pair up with a guy like that, who's maybe a little bit more. He can relate to the boys, kind of thing, and that he'd be a great supporting role in the NHL for sure.
Yeah. Have you ever had a team where you were in charge, like where the coach couldn't tell you anything, like you made an agreement? Because I did that in my final year in Sweden playing, and when the team really wanted me, and I told the coach, like, don't tell me what to do on 5-on-5s. You can only tell me on power play and let me play. If you want me to come to your team, you let me play. And he did. It worked out very well for me. I got the freedom to do whatever I wanted out there. Have you ever had that happen to you, where you kind of made an agreement with the coach?
No, I never did. I've had.
You don't think with the one team with Coach Milan, wouldn't you say? Because I remember you got along really well with him.
You know what? They never. I mean, they gave me freedom. I'm not going to say that we never had an agreement, but they were awesome coaches. They they gave me creative freedom in what I did.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. There was no agreement with that. It was just, they coached everybody different, and that's where they were. I'm actually really, to be honest with you, Jack, I'm really disappointed in Barry and in Milan, because they were such good coaches that never pursued coaching. I don't know how to say that. I mean, they coached a lot of years. They won championships. They did their thing.
Can
Obviously,
I say something about Milan?
Yeah.
So Milan was a guy who coached University of British Columbia, and they played the Vancouver Canucks, and they were beating them by the second period. Is that correct? That's what you remember.
Milan,
that? Yeah. That's how good Milan was of a coach. Took a bunch of
they never ended up winning the game, and there's a lot of factors in that. But Milan and Barry are amazing coaches. Barry actually, I think it was last year, won essentially the Hall of Fame coaching award for Hockey Canada.
Oh wow!
He's these are guys I had the pleasure of everybody talks about the Mike Babcocks and these kind of guys of the world that are legendary coaches and Stan Bowman and those kind of guys, and I truly feel that a Milan Dragicevic and a Barry Midori. That was their, I wouldn't say their destiny, because it's obviously not at this point in time, but, those guys could have achieved, equal to better to what, like a Stan Bowman or a Babcock or any of that achieved in coaching, and they chose not to. So, it kind of, that kind of, frustrates me that everybody picks their own path.
Well, the game's changed too. Do you think they would have adapted to the game?
Jacko, those guys' hockey brain was so far ahead. Yeah. We were coached in today's day and age, but we were also tough, right? Like we didn't, but we played a today's day game back then. That's why we won.
I mean, right? Milan was a very good coach. I mean, what he did with that junior team of yours, an expansion team, took them to nationals. That was just unreal. Like he was. I met him, I think, twice.
Yeah.
Because you remember you were sitting there with him negotiating sticks, and he's like, "Well, I'll give you like $150 worth of sticks because in juniors, you get a certain limit of sticks, right?" And you're like, "No, like Milan, you got to step it up a little." And he ended up, I think, giving you like $400 or $500 worth of blades or shafts, because back then sticks weren't that expensive, and I think you
Yeah.
had like the most sticks in the league. Like there's some deal that you made with him, and I was
No,
sitting there on the table, listen, just watching you guys go at it.
yeah, no, he was. Yeah, that was.
That
Yeah,
was
he was great.
yeah, he was
You know,
nice.
we just there was little things we negotiated there. I mean, I was coming back to play. I was coming back to play for him anyway. I couldn't. I could not play for
Yeah,
him
but you got a
in
good
last
amount
year.
of sticks in that deal. Like he said
Well,
anything you want.
I ended up on that. I ended up getting unlimited sticks.
Yeah,
Is how it worked. But
I'm,
we
yeah. I mean, you
we
got like I don't know what you got, but you got like no one in the league gets that because normally we get I think between like I'm gonna say like 12 to 24 wooden sticks. That's what we in juniors. That's what they give you. That's what,
yeah.
right? And then you're like,
Well,
well, no,
that's what they budget for, and it just depends on
yeah,
depends on who you are, and they'll slip you
yeah,
one here and there. It depends on the trainer, your relationship with the trainer,
yeah,
and stuff like that. But yeah, I got unlimited sticks. I mean, back then everybody used wood sticks.
yeah.
The graphite shaft wood blade was kind of the era.
It just came out.
It just came out. Like, so
just came
that's how
out. Yeah.
dated. That's how dated that
Yeah.
you and I are. That's
We're not
hilarious,
talking
right?
one piece sticks here. We're talking, and we're going to do a segment on sticks another day. I want to talk about sticks. We haven't talked about hockey sticks much.
Oh yeah,
Do
no,
it,
and that's one
yeah.
to get into.
Yeah, we're
The
going to do
evolution
that.
of
Yeah.
the evolution of the hockey
Yeah.
stick, and
Well,
but yeah, it's definitely it was one of those where I got the graphite shaft and the
Yeah.
wood blade, and it was it was one of those. I
I
ended
think they
up
were
winning.
Easton Ultralights, correct? Something like
Yeah,
that.
they
You got
were.
with
They
Easton.
were
Yeah.
that was the
The
they were
Kevlar one.
Yeah, they were like gold or something like that
Yeah.
color.
Yeah,
right?
those things held up really well. So I mean, you didn't have to
Yeah,
use
they
that
did.
many.
I didn't actually pop a lot of shafts.
No.
I broke. I mean, I broke blades, just their wood
Yeah,
blades, and
yeah.
I was a centerman, and
Yeah.
obviously,
Face off.
yeah, face-offs kill your sticks, and we all know that. My son's a centerman, and I hate him being a centerman because I have to buy so many sticks. But he's good in the face-off dots, so good on him.
Awesome. Yeah, well, it's great talking to you, Jason. I hope everything goes well in playoffs. Good luck to your son.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I'm gonna end up missing today and tomorrow's games, but the wife will be there and she'll be watching and give me updates, and I'll watch them on TV and see how they pan out. They're gonna have some tough battles. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, good luck to them. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thanks, Jacko.
Have a great
Right on.
day, sir.
You
Bye-bye.
too.
Thanks.
Bye.